Okay, let's do that again.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my favorite kind of video, I guess right now, is Conversations with Jason. Today we're gonna chat with you guys about something. Jason brought up a story to me. It resonated with me so much that I was like, Jason, we have to share this. For you guys who haven't seen a video with Jason and I work with Jason weekly on just mindset coaching, personal development, and he is my go-to. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm really excited. This story hit me really, really hard, which is why I told Sami in the first place. So I think we'll just jump right in. I was at the gym over the weekend and I was putting in a really, really poor workout. I mean, I went in there, didn't really have a plan, told myself do a little upper body, did like 3 pushes, was like, yeah, I'm good with that one.
Yep.
Took a couple phone calls. I mean, I was just like wasting my time through pretending I was being productive.
Yeah.
And I got on the phone with my brother, and one of our best friends just started a podcast called Go Get It. And they were telling me about the first episode they're gonna put out. And he's telling me the story about the fact that everybody's looking for this secret. Everyone wants the answer. Like, what's that quick fix to get me where I wanna go? And he said he was listening to Jesse Itzler, who I believe is the owner of the Atlanta Hawks, and a really big guy in the self-growth and development field. He heard about this guy named Chad who is helping people really take their time down on marathons. And Jesse's a big runner, and he's like, I gotta figure out what's the secret. What is the sauce that this guy has that's gonna change my times in my marathon runs?
Because he's like a crazy runner?
Yeah, he's a big time runner,
Okay.
does a lot of ultra marathons, loves pushing his body. He lived with David Goggins. Yeah, so he
Okay.
lived with David Goggins for a month. Like, he does a lot of extreme things and really pushes himself. And so he's like, I gotta go out and figure out what the secret is with this guy. And my brother's telling me the story and I'm like, I'm listening for like, what's the secret here? What's the secret? He goes out on an ultra run with this guy, 100-mile run, and they're running together and they're 50 miles in, they're halfway through, and Jesse's feeling it. He's running and he's like, man, when is this guy gonna give me the secret?
Right.
Like, when is this guy gonna tell me what I have to do? And he's just thinking in his head, and he's kind of, running through it, maybe struggling a little bit. And about 10 miles later, at the 60-mile mark, Chad turns around and he's like, Jesse, how you feeling, man? Jesse's like, I'm struggling out here. I'm trying. We're going. And Chad goes around and he goes, that's your problem. He's like, what? He's like, when I ask you how you're feeling, you tell me you're feeling great. You tell me you're feeling great. Because when you say right there, that's gonna change the next couple steps you take. That's gonna change and tell yourself how you're supposed to feel as you're running. And when you tell me you're tired and you're struggling, that's what you're gonna do. So tell me again, how you feeling? I'm feeling great. And my brother's telling me this, and I'm connecting all the dots here because I'm thinking, I just did this workout, and I'm telling myself that I don't want to be here, and I'm struggling through it, and it's hard, and that's how I'm feeling the entire way through. But immediately, I want to figure out how this could be wrong. I got to figure out, you can't be like that all the time. That's what I'm in my head. I'm like, can't be like that.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, there are definitely times you have to talk about your feelings. We're taught to sometimes talk about them, sometimes not. How do you know the difference? And I asked my brother, and he's like, well, the way I think about it is whenever I'm going to present who I am to someone, I'm going to give them the most energy possible because I'm responsible for that energy now, and I'm going to take that on. And I do this all the time. And I was like, you know what? I might not do this in every area of my life, but I'm gonna do it in the gym right now.
Wow.
And so that's how it all started.
Yeah.
Later that night, I couldn't hold it in. Sami and I were talking about a phone call she was having. And I said, Sami, I gotta tell you this story. And so I'll let you take it from here.
So Jason told me the story just like that, how he just told to you guys. And for me, I was like, same thing happened. I was like, well, Jason, am I supposed to tell myself that all the time? Or am I supposed to, what if I have emotions come up? When do I use this situation? But I was like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna try it. Like, who cares? Let's just try it out. So I did. The next morning, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this out. So I'm in this house with people right now, and the first thing everyone asks is, how did you sleep? All right, and for me, I'm an 8-hour sleep girl. Like, I need it to feel alive, which is also what I put in my mind. Like, if I don't get 8 hours, I'm like, it's gonna be a crappy day, like, whatever. So actually this night, I only got 6 hours of sleep. Had to wake up at 6, so here I go. I walk downstairs. The first person I see is like, Sam, how did you sleep? And in my head, I wanted them to feel bad for me and say, I only got 6 hours, I'm feeling crappy, whatever. And instead I took a second and I was like, I feel great. I slept great. And I truly believed it. Like when I said it, I believed it and I was like, oh, I feel great. And I called Jason after because I was like, I'm having the best day ever. Like I seriously was. I was having the best day ever. And it really was a crazy mindset change of me just starting the day with me telling myself and others, I'm feeling great. I slept great. Oh, it was a game changer.
It's amazing. And I think one of the things that when she called me on the phone was telling me about the morning that I love so much is when she said she felt great, everybody else around her then took on that same energy and also expressed how great they were feeling.
Yeah.
And didn't feel like they had to like lower themselves down in order to kind of comfort maybe that feeling you might have wanted.
Right.
And so it almost raised the standards of everybody you were around and then created that energy from that point forward.
Right.
And this story is moving around.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that my brother told me it. I mean, it has fundamentally changed the way that I've been working out. It's been changing the way I wake up in the morning. And I realized the same way after you told me that story, that when I've been staying here and working with Max, and we've been staying in the same apartment since COVID started, every morning when I wake up, he asked me how much I slept and how I feel. And a lot of the words coming out of my mouth were like, you know, I'm really tired, but I'm doing well. 5 hours tonight,
Yeah.
you know, like it's gonna be one of those days.
Yeah.
And ever since you told me that, I've been saying like, I feel great today.
Yeah.
And it really changes the way the body responds
Yes.
to the day.
It really does. You can like feel the energy of it, of you telling yourself it. Your body's like, all right, switch. Like, let's switch it. This is, you feel great, Samantha.
Yeah. Now you know the voice that goes on inside of her head.
That's the voice.
That's it right there.
That's
That
the
tone,
voice.
that everything.
Yeah.
I think if you're someone watching this right now and that story connected with you, you know, there are times where you're not going to want to say that. You're going to want to express your
Yeah.
feelings and you're going to look to kind of break through what this means. This isn't an all or nothing. It's not black and white. This is really about finding spaces where this is going to benefit you and then learning how to bring it into consciousness right when you need it.
Right.
So like the fact that we had this conversation the night before this happened was only the first part because she actually had to remember it, take a second, and then really start to change the pattern that she had usually done, which takes a lot of energy inside of you.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you were able to do it right away while it was fresh completely changed the momentum you had experiencing that. And then just having that momentum now allows all these other things to happen.
Right.
And that, I think, that's the key.
Yeah.
And again, like, you know, if you're feeling other types of feelings, we're not saying repress them, or
Right.
we're not saying like, no, just, you know, if you're angry, you just say you're feeling great. You know, there's spaces for anger, there's spaces for feeling great.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times when we're trying to work through things or we're trying to push ourselves into new places and we're feeling a little uncomfortable where we're going, the inner talk in our head is something that's really, really hard to get past.
Right.
You know, for me, I feel it during running. So now that I've been running a little more, I just hear, you know, take a break. You
Yeah.
know, like you're working too hard, you know? Like,
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get to the point where in the middle of the run, when I catch that inner voice,
Right.
I'll say out loud, how are you feeling? And I'll respond, I'm feeling great. And those next 3 or 4 steps
Yeah.
have power in them.
Right,
And
right.
I really
So
like
how would you know the difference of saying, if you're, you know, just like this guy who's on the 100-mile run, which is just insane, how would you know the difference of your body actually needing that rest, or the difference of no, you can push a little bit more, which I think is something that I've learned, is I do think I can limit myself, and that has been a really cool experience of seeing no, you can go a little bit more, but how do you push that, and then, or how do you know when to push that and when to not?
Right. So the way I do it is I build containers around where I'm going to be trying things out. That's first and foremost, because I don't want to make something that applies to every area of my
Right.
life. And so the container that I've been putting it in is sleep, in terms of like when I'm waking up, working out. because those are the two areas where I think that the words I use inside my head and the way I express those things to other people really shift the way my day's going.
So true.
So like I think sleep is a big one.
Yeah.
And I do think you should, try to be on a good sleep schedule for sure. But I think in the event that you fall off for a day or two, the weight that we feel to try to push ourselves back into a sleep schedule that works could be different if we're telling ourselves, like I slept great.
Right.
Now we get to the next day and now we want to sleep great again. And now we're not just saying it.
Right.
Same thing with working out. And this is one of the things that I think you do incredibly well is when you're working out and you're leading a workout, you're constantly providing the voice for people to push past where they're going. But when someone's working out themselves, a lot of times the voice, that's not the pushing voice.
Right.
That's the stopping voice.
Right.
And saying it in that area, I find it extremely powerful.
Right. And I think that's something to be super aware of where it would fit for you, because in working out, it comes pretty natural to me, which was cool to see that I was already doing it in that area of working out, because that's something I just love and it comes natural and it comes not easy, but it's just my nature.
Yeah.
So that comes easy where I am pumping myself up, and I tell you guys all the time on the lives, like what I'm saying to you is what I'm saying to myself. And so it's just like happening. So when Jason tells me this story and I was like, wow, I'm already doing it in a place in my life that helps me so much. So to now implement it in areas like sleep, or for me, doing a task that sounds like terrible, like emails. And saying, I feel great going into these emails. And it sounds so like cheesy or fake, but really it's such a energy change for me of when I enter into those emails, I'm like, I feel great in this inbox, and you really do feel the difference. So I think it's great for you to say, finding those spaces that you want to try it in, rather than if you are having emotions come up, you can confront them and not replace them with I feel great. All right, I'm gonna let Jason just close it off for us here.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.